remember as a child, one day my mother said to me, "Do you see that man?" And he was out in front of our house. There was a small man with a French beret on, which back in the 1930s was really something. And she said, "He is Dr. Robert Spencer. And as you grow older, you will hear more about him."
When Dr. Robert Spencer died in 1969, he left behind a collection of letters from women asking for his help. The letters spanned 4 decades. There were more than 30,000 letters in all.
Dear Dr. Spencer, I'm writing at the suggestion of a friend. I'm 6 weeks overdue and am desperately afraid of winding up in the wrong hands, because someday I wish to have a family.
I find it very difficult to begin this letter. I have a problem, and the man responsible left me as soon as he heard about it. I was given your name as one of the few doctors in the country willing to handle these cases.
Dear Dr. Spencer, my husband has just passed away. I have 5 children and cannot have another. I'm in dire need of your help and would like an appointment with you as soon as possible.
This is Ashland, a town of 4,000 people nestled in the anthracite coal region of eastern Pennsylvania. People here take pride in their community. An annual parade celebrates Ashland's small town traditions. Ashland was a thriving town in 1925 when the young Dr. Spencer opened his clinic on Center Street. It was the most modern doctor's office within 50 miles. This was a time when coal drove the nation's industries, and Ashland mines produced anthracite, the finest coal in America. As the demand for coal tapered off, Ashland became known for its bootleg miners, speakeasies, and labor unrest.
This was an area where the Molly Maguires were quite active. Union organizing days. This was a place where a lot of immigrant groups resented and resisted government intervention generally. They thought that people should be left alone, that there was a kind of, what one local priest said to me, he said, "There's a dreadful live and let live attitude in this town."
Dr. Spencer's treatment of black lung disease and his willingness to help rescue injured miners made him legendary in Ashland.
It was very unusual for a doctor to go into the mines to help anybody. Generally, they had to be brought out first and taken to the hospital before they were seen by any doctor. And he would go in there and supply that attention before they were freed. And that was a danger to his own life at times, but he did it.
My first vivid recollection of Dr. Spencer as an individual or as a doctor was that I read in the paper that he removed an open safety pin from a girl's esophagus. So from then on, Dr. Spencer was something a little different. He was out of the ordinary run of doctors.
I guess he could tell by what the way you looked or anything else, you know, people that didn't have much. And I didn't have much because I was the sole support for my mother and my 2 children, you know. And he never charged me more than $2 and gave me the medicine.
He was a short man and kind of rotund, and he had a very happy face. He was always smiling, it seemed to me. I still remember him in his little beret with the little knob on top of it. He wore those most of the time. I thought he looked funny in that thing.
He looked like Harry Truman. He was feisty, and he had a rotary pin in his lapel. He wasn't what I had expected. And I remember the pride at the age of, in his late 70s, he bought a aqua car. And this was a car that could ride both on land and on sea.
He was just a pleasure to be with. He was a jolly person.
He'd have made a good preacher, but he was an atheist.
He would be sort of provocatively scientific. That man who understood science, a man of science, could do wonderful things, could make the world a better place.
Dr. Spencer treated all patients, even those too poor to pay. But there was one type of patient who, by law, Dr. Spencer could not treat: women who were pregnant but did not wish to be. Throughout the United States, abortion was illegal. A doctor who helped a woman terminate her pregnancy could have his medical license revoked, be fined, and sent to prison. The ban on abortion gave rise to the widespread practice of illegal abortion. Black market abortionists seldom had medical training. Procedures were unsanitary, marked by fear. Around the country, thousands of women were injured or died each year. For desperate women, the only alternative was to perform the abortion themselves.
I was student teaching at a junior high school in Harlem. And in the short period of time that I was there, 3 young girls had attempted to abort themselves with hangers, real backroom abortions, and 2 of them had died, young kids.
He had people brought into him from abortionists in the area that had botched a job. They would use such things as a stays from an umbrella, and they would usually wind up either in the hospital or in Dr. Spencer's office.
One woman tried inserting one of those glass straws, you know. You put a glass straw in a drink, and she used that, and she come into him, and he worked terribly to save her life.
For 6 years, Dr. Spencer obeyed the ban on abortion. Then, with the Great Depression approaching, the local coal industry collapsed. Mines shut down. Families went hungry.
The first one he ever did was a very poor woman with too many children. And she came to him and asked when he helped her out. She couldn't take any more of it. And he had sympathy on her, and he said, I couldn't resist it.
People just went to him and depended on his sympathy to perform an abortion. It wasn't advertised, it wasn't talked about. No one criticized it. It was just a necessary service.
Word quickly spread of Dr. Spencer's willingness to perform abortions openly in his clinic. Women came to him first from Ashland, then from surrounding towns. In time, his reputation spread to other states.
In college, we had all kept Dr. Spencer's names in our wallet as a sort of talisman, and in case of emergencies, we would know that there was this man, or we thought there was this man, and he had kind of mythic. We weren't sure that he existed. I never knew anyone who actually went to Ashland, but we had all heard these stories.
He was so well known that there was a mythology around him. I'd heard that they put him in jail sometimes. I heard the story once that he had performed abortions because he had a daughter who died from an illegal abortion, and that, I believe, turned out to be apocryphal. There were all kinds of rumors floating around.
In a small town like Ashland, everybody seems to know everything about everybody. And of course you hear lots of stories and lots of rumors going around, and I heard lots of stories about, you know, performing the abortions, and the bus stopped at the corner down below his place, and they said when you see ladies getting off of the New York bus all dressed up and going up to Dr. Spencer, that's what they're going for.
We never missed a beautiful girl, no matter where she was, and somebody always saw her going by, you know, and hollered, everybody else come to the windows and have the fun of watching a girl go by. They walked up and down town for pastime when they were free, and to see what the local yokels looked like. But they were nice people. They were not riffraff, as they might say. They were nice people.
Sometimes there'd be somebody come in and they wouldn't have the fare to go back. He'd give it to them, or he'd even buy them a dinner. They were that poor.
Dr. Spencer's office was set up to accommodate women from out of town who could not afford the local hotel, and black women who weren't welcome there. On the wall of his office were these words:
Well, I remember a long drive to Dr. Spencer's clinic. I mean, it's hard to explain how frightened I was. I mean, it's just so hard to go back and remember the backdrop of illegal abortions and the criminal sense of it and the dangerous sense of it.
It was April of 1964 when I went to see Dr. Spencer. That I always remember, because not only was a traumatic time in making the decision to have an abortion, but also to find somebody that's safe and that's not going to jeopardize your health.
I didn't even know what was wrong with me, but I asked a woman friend, and she said, "You're pregnant." I said, "Oh my God, what do I do?" She said, "Well, you have two choices. You can go to Dr. Spencer, if he's practicing now, or you can raise $600 and go to Puerto Rico. And when you're working for $1 an hour, and Dr. Spencer charged $25, there was no question."
I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected to be punished somehow or to be told, as I had felt, that this was a wrong thing to do and a wrong thing to happen. And it wasn't like that. It was, this is an accident. This is an unfortunate situation. You are not doing the wrong thing.
I think it was the first time that it really kicked in, that I was really scared. Would something more would I be damaged inside? If I chose to have children later on, would I be able to have children? But then I sort of started thinking of Dr. Spencer, and I kind of saw his face, and I felt that this man would not harm me, or would not hurt me. And I really thank God in a way that he was there to help me, because this was not a period of my life where I was ready to have a child.
I remember being told if we were stopped by the highway patrol to just say we were on a vacation, because there were no reasons to visit Ashland other than, especially from New York with out-of-state license plates, unless you were on your way for an abortion.
I suppose if I were going there as an adult now, I don't know how much the town has changed, but I'd probably think, wow, what kind of a godforsaken place is this? What kind of an out-of-the-way place is this? But I guess I figured that it was just about right for him to be able to do what he did in such a place, and perhaps he was protected by the town. That didn't occur to me then, though.
I had a feeling that people there knew what was going on, that this was a time that abortions were illegal, but yet I had the feeling that the whole town knew, because the motel manager was a man, and when we were young, you know, college students, and yet what are we doing there for one night?
He once told me they should name me, jokingly, he said they should name me Mr. Ashland. He said if it wasn't for me, there'd be no motels in this town. People came from all over, and they literally did. They came from California, from Florida, many from New York, from Massachusetts, his dozens and dozens of states, some foreign countries. He was the magnet that brought the world to Ashland after no one much wanted the anthracite that it had produced for all the years of its boom.
As word of Dr. Spencer's abortion practice spread, it drew the attention of local and state authorities. Finally, the crackdowns began. On at least 5 occasions, state troopers raided Dr. Spencer's clinic, but they were not able to prove that Dr. Spencer was doing anything illegal.
When he was to be raided by the state police, the county police gave him word of what was going on, and he would get rid of his patients in the office. And when they came, there was nobody there that he was doing abortions on. When he'd lay low, that was only for a day or so. He'd just clean out the office the days that he was going to be arrested. He'd start in the next day and go back to work.
The townspeople, in effect, built an invisible shield that as far as possible, the townspeople would protect the doctor, even though they realized, and even though a lot of them personally did not approve of abortion.
I worried about it. I didn't want anything to happen to him, and you never knew what could.
Dr. Spencer avoided arrest for nearly 3 decades. Then, in 1956, a woman from New York who had come to Ashland for an abortion experienced heart failure during the procedure. Dr. Spencer tried to revive her, but was unsuccessful. He called the local police and told them what happened.
The people that arrested Dr. Spencer didn't do it willingly. They did it very unwillingly, and cut it as short as they knew how to do it.
The county prosecutor charged Dr. Spencer with performing an illegal abortion and involuntary manslaughter. He told reporters that he could prove Dr. Spencer's guilt without a doubt. Dr. Spencer himself had signed a confession stating the patient died during an illegal abortion. Still, the jurors heard 9 days of expert testimony reinforcing the prosecution's case.
Well, I knew that he was a doctor that did abortions. I knew that. I realized that. And but he did a lot of other good. He was one of the first doctors that performed tonsillectomies in his office.
Dr. Spencer's lawyer called no witnesses. He spoke to the jury for 10 minutes and rested his case.
I don't approve of abortion. I think it's wrong because I'm a Christian, but the girl from New York that had died in his office had a lot of other medication in her purse, and we felt that she may have had other medical problems other than being there for an abortion.
The jury's verdict came as a relief to Dr. Spencer. Had he been found guilty, he could have been banned from practicing medicine ever again. Still, he was devastated by the death of the woman from New York.
He wouldn't do any for quite a while. And but then somebody desperately in need of help would come in once in a while, then he would do one.
Dear Dr. Spencer, thank you for recommending the doctor in Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, I do not have the means to travel there. I'm growing more afraid each day.
Dear doctor, I am 18 years old and I am very distressed because I'm in trouble. I have no family here and no one to turn to.
Dear Dr. Spencer, I'm at the end of my rope and I'm running out of time. I am writing in hopes that you might reconsider my request for help.
In time, Dr. Spencer's practice returned to normal. He continued to perform abortions openly, helping as many as 10 women a day.
He did this because he thought there was enough suffering in the world, and he should, as far as possible, he should eliminate it. It was, I want to help humanity, which seems awfully simplistic to say, but that's how I feel the doctor was. He wanted to help humanity in whatever way he could, and as a doctor, this was a way in which he could do it.
When you asked him, the big why do you do it? He said, that's what he said, these young women come and they ask me and they say, why do you do it? And I say, well, don't you want me to do it for you? And they say, yes. And he said, that's why I do it.
When my first daughter was born, I had never loved any creature so much in my whole life. It was not, it was not the same feeling of getting pregnant accidentally at all. As soon as I knew I was pregnant, I was so happy. And I feel everything goes back to everything goes back to everything. So if Dr. Spencer hadn't helped me out then, I know I probably would have made a good life, but I can't imagine that it would have been as good as this one.
Dr. Spencer kept his office open almost until the day he died in 1969, 4 years before abortion became legal. His obituary appeared in the New York Times and on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. Newsweek magazine devoted a whole page to his story. The Ashland newspaper published a moving eulogy, but never mentioned that Dr. Spencer had performed abortions.
Dear Dr. Spencer, I will never forget your gentleness and concern. Since my visit last summer, I finished college and have begun teaching. There is no way I can thank you enough.
Dear
for all
Doctor,
you've done.
I want you to know how much I appreciate the risks you took to help me when no one else would. I am truly grateful. I thank God that you were there.
Dr. Spencer, I came to you 2 years ago when I was in trouble. At that time, I felt so frightened and alone. I am now married and recently had a beautiful baby girl. I owe much of my happiness to you.
I figured what he did and what the people that come to him did was their own business. Judge not, and you won't be judged.
The community protected him because they liked him, because he was doing a good job. Anytime there was any medical problems that no one else knew how to solve, they went to Dr. Spencer, and it seemed he knew the answers, and everybody loved him.